All right, just 1 second. Let me grab this. This, 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 this book, and this book.
I think you just hit your mute button on your microphone, probably with the book.
All right, so all of these books have something in common, and yet they're completely unrelated. This one's called Patterns 1. This one's The Structure of Magic, Primal Branding. You've got Zero Limits in here by Joe Vitale. Like Invisible Selling Machine. All of these books have a common thread through them, and that common thread is something that many people don't think about. And it's, we all have, I said, blinders on every aspect of life. If I'd started the show off with this hat on, you would have made the assumptions based on your blinders in life, right? And
I love that you just have that ready to grab.
Don't you keep one nearby?
Is it only certain times of day that you'd like need to put it on? Like what? Like how do you know when you need it, when you don't?
Oh, wait, you don't have that app that tells you?
No, I don't.
Oh man, you're behind. But all of those books, they cover vastly different topics, but every single one of those books have the opportunity to expand and remove the blinders from a person in a way that they don't normally see the world. And so by me having these books on my shelf, when I'm sometimes stuck, what I do is I just start looking at the different titles that I have so that I start thinking differently, because every one of these books represents somebody's pile of experience or lots of people's pile of experience, and the way that the world reacted to them based on the way they were reacting out or acting out to the world. And if I can shift what's going on up inside my brain, it's going to shift the entire way I see the world. And I don't think enough people give enough credibility and enough validity to the importance of what's going on inside their head.
That's fair, because at the end of the day, what's going on inside your head is like everything around us exists. You know, like these microphones, the cameras we're using, the computers, the desk, like everything around us was created first in somebody's mind before it became reality. Like we're surrounded by the dreams of people in the past. Like everything is. And so yes, we absolutely walk through life many times with those blinders on, not seeing what's really around us. And I know we've talked about some of this before, but I see that as like the story that we tell ourselves is very, very narrow.
But even more than that, I put this hat on, and anybody who sees that hat has some assumptions that they're immediately making. Hey, you can't even help but grin when you see this hat on me. But you have no idea why I'm wearing the hat. But you've already inside your own head created this whole scenario about Psycho McGee Jason, and you're thinking about all these. I'm sure it's like 100 jokes and 100 stories and who knows where, all just because I have some aluminum on my head, and you have no clue what the real story is for the aluminum.
This is true. I mean, because yes, you're right. It brings in all the other past experiences with tinfoil hats. Not personally, but the stories and all the things around them. Maybe I missed out. Maybe I didn't get my tinfoil hat on soon enough, and now I can't wear one anymore.
Probably could be. One of these books, though, Zero Limits, is one that intrigued me because in the book it says the secret Hawaiian system for wealth, health, peace, and more. And I could try and describe the whole book, but essentially my interpretation of the book came down to, and there's a ton of interesting stories and experiences that have happened for different people that have used that. But essentially it came down to, we're constantly being bombarded with external stimulus. We're getting things coming in through all of our senses all the time. And what we have to do is we have to recognize that none of it actually represents reality at all. It could represent reality, but mostly it represents how our body interpreted the senses that it felt or saw or heard in the world, and then how it interpreted it when it handed it into our brain. And so one of the big premises is because of that, we can't necessarily trust all that, but we can trust going around with mindsets and mantras like, thank you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you. And repeating those kinds of things helps eliminate all of the negative things that would hold us back. And when we're focusing solely on those positive things, it's going to open us up to new opportunities. So I think they call it divinity, so that divinity can guide us in the path that divinity has for us. And I think that's the summary of the book. Very interesting concepts, very interesting experiences people have had. But for someone who's never had an experience where they felt guided by divinity or God or the universe or whatever name you want to slap on it, if you've never had that experience and you see people acting in a certain way because they have had those experiences, oftentimes we start judging those people based on our experiences because we don't have another set of experiences to pull from. And that's why books are so powerful. They give us the opportunity to step into someone else's shoes and understand the world in a way we never would have otherwise.
Well, yeah, and I have since I spent a period of time early this year where I wasn't doing a lot of um, reading other books, and I've since flipped back on that, and I'm back to studying again those experiences, and I think one thing that I like to share with people that I think relates to what you're bringing up is um, if you were born with rose-colored glasses, how would the world look to you?
Awfully rosy.
Well, and that's a common response. But if you were born with the glasses, you never had them off, the world would look normal
Mm, yeah,
because that's your normal perception. That's the lens that you come to the world with. And so if they were to be removed, then the world looks weird.
right.
But now you're seeing with your actual eyes.
Yeah.
And so the lenses that we have that we don't even realize we're wearing completely distort our perceptions and create the reality that we experience. And so when we can learn to add and remove lenses intentionally and know which lenses we are prone to wear, then we can break free at some level from at least static perceptions, and we can choose the perceptions and therefore the reality that serves us best.
So I was in a couple of meetings this week, and I've heard different things from different business owners. One was this person's trying to grow their business, and by grow their business, that means they're trying to go out and get new contracts that they can fulfill on. But they're standing in the middle, and they're saying, on this hand, I have to get more contracts. But if I get more contracts, I have to have more employees. But if I hire too many employees and don't have enough contracts, then my employees don't have work. But if I get too many contracts and don't have enough employees, then I don't have enough people to do my work. And so I can't really grow because I can't grow both at the same time. So how do I grow both at the same? Forget it. It's not going to work. And that's the cycle that this business owner is kind of stuck in. I have another one that I was listening to, and they're like, "Oh man, I got to hire an employee." They've never hired before. So all they know is all the fear. And why is it that they only know fear? I'm not sure. But all they know is the bad. Like it can go so wrong. You can hire someone, they can ruin the company. It's my reputation on the line. It's going to be terrible. Like, this is a person who doesn't know the path to walk to get to success. And so all they're doing is looking out in the swamp and saying, I could sink in there. An alligator might get me here, on and on through all the problems, rather than saying, well, yeah, there's all those problems, but what if I went and found somebody that knew that path and walked me through the path. Total change their mindset. They would move so much faster towards their success, but they're trapped inside their brain on this.
Well, yeah, and I can say I was one of those people that was stuck on the hiring of employees for a long time. Like, because I grew up with a entrepreneurial father, and he hired employees for his various businesses. But at the end of the day, the the phrasing that was used around about employees, like if you want something done right, you have to do it yourself, is a really common one. It's like
Ugh.
you just can't trust them, and like they're usually more expensive than they're worth, and on and on and on. Like all the phrases, and like this is what I grew up with.
All the
This is what my
poison.
yeah, and it's like, and so when it came to came to the point to where I had grown my first successful business to $4 million a year with just me, and I used subcontractors, and I had to hire subcontractors, but that's not the same as bringing somebody in house. And it's like, so I had huge amounts of fear and anxiety around the whole concept of hiring an employee, and it kept me stuck for a long time. Eventually, I got to where I had a company with 120 employees. Like, huh. But
Hire another 5. I don't care. Right?
it
Totally
didn't happen
different story.
overnight. Like it, like, and I was literally stuck for years. That being my constraint, that those poisonous thoughts and ideas that it's too risky to do that, and then also not knowing the right path. It's like now that I know the right path and the right order of hiring somebody, like it's not scary anymore. But I have the experience, and I've made the mistakes, and I've learned from the mistakes, and now I know better. So that fear is gone. But yeah, the story that I had in my head about it kept me stuck for a long time.
And I wonder how often in my own life and others, everyone, like if we could take and stack piles of I'm stuck because of external factors, I'm stuck because of internal brain factors. What is that ratio? Like
It's all internal.
at the end of life, what would that ratio be? Because if I wanted as a little kid to run, but I'm still learning how to walk, that's a bit of an external. It's going to just take some effort and some time to get through that. There's a learning curve and a certain amount of time and dedication that have to be put into it, even if I had all the right mindset.
Oh, yeah, I guess I wouldn't even consider recognizing the things that you need to learn and the time that you need to put in as being stuck. That's just part of the path to get where you want to go.
It is, but
For me, being
it's the
stuck is the
time
things that
that I
keep you
don't
from
have
even
what I want.
embarking on that.
Right, but there's a certain amount of time where I don't have what I want. So I'd love to be
Yes.
able to take piles and be like, this is the external factors that it took time, it took effort, it took energy. This is the internal factors, and put that pile. And for everything that people have, I would bet more often than not, it comes down to mostly the internal pile is going to be huge, and the external pile is relatively small. I was reading, in fact, is one of these other books. It was the structure of the way people speak. And one of the best ways that we can get into what people are thinking is the way they speak. And what it was saying is oftentimes someone will make a statement and they'll leave words off the start of the sentence, words off the end of the sentence, and the recipient has to digest the words that were spoken and the context for the words that weren't spoken. And then often as humans, on top of all of that, we also have to intuitively understand a lot of their preconceived notions that led them to make a partial sentence statement to us. And that's an incredible amount of work. And when you think that humans can communicate back and forth with a fraction, half a sentence, and yet I can understand the context and the backstory around it to a certain degree, pretty incredible that our brains can do all of that. But it also leads to an immense amount of miscommunication. And if we have that miscommunication between ourselves and others, we're also miscommunicating to ourselves because we have all those pre-built assumptions. You said it earlier, when I put the hat on and you smile, it's because of all your past experiences, which are playing into that experience you're now having. If we don't take time to slow down and be like, why am I even thinking this way? Why am I believing this? Why am I saying this? If we never slow down and stop to think about what we're thinking about and why we're thinking about it, we're going to have a hard time taking and intentionally pivoting to the thoughts, the actions, and the mindsets we really want to have.
Yeah, when we are stuck, absolutely. Like for me, like it's still really easy to get in my head about um doing regular posting on social media. It's like what's like again, I know from my personal experience, if you put me in a small group where I can talk to somebody face to face, no anxiety.
Sure.
Like doesn't bother, especially if it's about business. I love it. It makes me happy. But to just randomly stand in front of a camera and it's not random, but just to stand in front of a camera and speak, it's like it's really easy to get in my head about what the purpose is. Does it matter? Like who's it for? Why would anybody listen? All of those things. And this is coming from somebody who, like, over the course of history, like if you want to talk about talking and persuading people, I personally have closed somewhere between 40 and $50 million in sales. Like, so
Not your salesman, you, right?
me, yeah,
Yeah.
not my salesman, me. Like if we add the salesman, it's far more than that. And yet to even when we started this, like it was super awkward, and I was not comfortable. Now after 40 some odd episodes or however anywhere, I don't even know where we're at. It's like it's not a big deal, but I have you here as that form of interaction, but still to do it without any form of feedback whatsoever, to do a post or a yap or whatever phrasing they're using now. It just I still have to get over it in my head. And the way that I get over it in my head is say it doesn't matter. I'm just going to do it anyway. So
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of comfort is found in taking action, or can be
yeah,
found. Yes.
yes. Well, I found that um, motivation comes after the motion. It's like, so every time I try and get myself psyched up or motivated to do a thing, like rarely do I actually end up doing the thing. But if I can just forget all that, get out of my own head and just do it, then it's like, oh, now I'm actually motivated to keep going and to do it.
One of the best phrasing that I heard around that came from Tony Robbins. He said, if you look at the word emotion and take the E
Mhm.
off, you're left with motion. So the way you're moving, the way you're not moving, the way you're acting, the way you're not acting is going to dictate a lot of the emotions that you end up having. Not all, but a lot. And so that
Mhm.
means you can start using your motions and your movement to invoke emotions you want to have instead of the ones that you don't want to have.
Yes. Yeah, this is so true. And like you see business owners that have all these preconceived notions. I mean, we work with them on a regular basis, and sometimes they're so stuck in their own stories that there's nothing you can say to help them. And other times they realize, like, they recognize that you're able to help shine a light on it, and we can actually help them move forward and get unstuck.
Mm-hmm.
And like I met with a business owner yesterday, showing him our new system, and he's going through it. And he's like, and he went through the first 7 cards before he finally like, oh, ah, and it resonated with him.
Oh, wow.
And he's like, yeah, I this is what I need. Like this is a thing that I need in my business. Like everything up to that point, and it was, it was validating. You know, one more data point that
Mm-hmm.
the order worked. Like that he had several things in place before he got to the thing that where he was stuck.
Mm.
And but at the same time, the foundation that we have, his vision for what he wanted out of his life, his business was already achieving that. And so he had no real desire to put forth the extra effort and energy that it would take to make that change because he was already getting everything that his current vision says that he wants.
Oh, interesting.
And so for him, that was good enough. Like
Right.
he and I'd spoken with him in past, and so I kind of expected that to be the case. But
Mhm.
until he raises his vision, until he wants more, his business is primed to do exactly what he wants it to do, and he doesn't see any reason to change that because he's getting what he said he wants.
Hmm.
And yeah, that's awesome. Like you can totally respect a guy who's like, I'm very clear on what I want to have happen, and I'm on the path with the same time frame that I want. But I know for so many of us that's not the case. And we oftentimes our visions are so small that they don't help us filter out for those emotions so that we're actually doing the right motions and ignoring the things that don't matter.
Yeah. I've been having an interesting experience the last few weeks, and that relate back to the emotions, the vision, and what it comes down to is I have a vision of what I want to achieve, and it's out here somewhere, right? Wherever I want to put it. It's way out in front of me, and I know all these steps that need to be taken to get to that by myself, by others, whoever it is. And yet I keep having these things that are coming in that I feel like I have to deal with. And when one of those comes in and I have to deal with it, and it's detracting from the vision that I have over here, and I know that when I pick up that other item and start looking at it, that I'm no longer looking at my vision, I'm starting to get frustrated and angry. I'm like, what is this garbage in front of me? Throw it away. Let's get back to that vision. Let's get back to focus. Let's get back to moving towards that thing. And it's amazing to me because that vision is so burning and in front of me at all times. It's like sitting there and looking at a campfire. You can't see anything else, and you don't want to look at anything else. You just want to stay focused on the campfire and enjoy it. And that's where I'm at with my vision right now, where when these bombardments come in, I'm like, ah, seriously, who is trying to waste my life away to nothing? But 5 years ago, I've been like, oh, gotta take care of this. Uh-oh. Looks like you lost me.
I did.
Let's try that again. There we go. I'm back. Anyway, yeah, so 5 years ago, I would have been happy to take care of all these little things that are coming into my life and just keep playing with them. And here's a new one, here's a new one here. And I'm like, no, no more. Get rid of them, move them away. I've got something I'm going to do, and don't distract me.
So when you were happy being, I'm going to paraphrase for you. Tell me if it's not right. But when you were happy being distracted with busyness, using busyness as a surrogate for actual productivity, not entirely, but to an
It
extent,
matched my vision for myself at the time.
it matched your vision for yourself.
And now these items coming in no longer match my vision for myself. And so
So you have a
rather than
filter.
bringing satisfaction and meaning, they're now bringing dissatisfaction to me and feeling like they're trying to detract from what I'm supposed to be accomplishing because of my vision.
And and so I guess I would go back and ask you from these books and from the emotions of being in your head, like having that vision. So one thing, and you have, this is my word again, but you have a filter for what you should be worrying about and not, because you have clarity of what you want to achieve in the future,
Yeah,
of
and
of the reality that you're actually creating now.
right, and I think going to another book, Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning, he talked about many people, their goal is to live in a world that has no ripples on the lake, so to speak. Jason's words, not his. And he says that will not bring you meaning. That will not bring you what you're looking for. Instead, when you want true meaning in your life, you see the vision of what you want, and then you're actively pursuing it. And that's where humans find meaning. But so many humans think that they need to be in this state of zen all the time, where no troubles, no struggles, no strife, no challenges come in, no issues go out. We're just humming to ourselves that nice hum all day long, and that's where meaning comes. But his contention is that that brings a hollowness because you're not actively achieving, growing, and becoming and doing. And so when we get rid of that desire to use as little energy as possible, and we start with the how do I use every ounce of energy I have to chase the thing, that's where we're going to be far happier as humans.
Well, and it's funny you say that because, like, for anybody who's, like, a science fiction lover, like, there are so many, whether movies, books, or whatever, science fiction plots that are about that very concept of the difference between, peaceful Zen-like utopia and conflict, and that the peaceful Zen-like utopias, they are a complete mental fabrication. They don't exist because, like, we're not wired to allow that to bring us any kind of satisfaction. It's like we need to create. We need to strive toward something to have an impact, to make a change on the environment and reality around us. And that can go in a lot of different directions depending on who you are. But if we don't have that, then life is absolutely empty. Like, and that's why you see that in people today, and why, like, so many people, there's several people I know that work the 9 to 5 or 8 to whatever, or, wherever the hours are. They were working for somebody else, completely dissatisfied with life because it was just a daily grind. They just went in, they did their duties, they went home, dealt with the same issues at home, like back and forth all day with no end in sight. And they had to throw that away. They had to get rid of that old life in order to embrace a new life where the challenges are arguably, much harder, but they're also more meaningful.
Yeah.
And I think people, when they realize, once you get comfort, many people are willing to throw that comfort away in exchange for meaning.
Mm, that is the perfect phrase to end on.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Thank you.